Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into something pretty cool. We're talking about learning English with music.
Interesting, right.
Yeah, I mean, we all know music and we all know English. But have you ever thought about putting those two things together?
It's actually more powerful than you might think.
Okay, so tell me, what's the big deal about using music to learn English?
Well, think about it. You know how easy it is to get a song stuck in your head? That's because music has this amazing ability to, bypass all the traditional ways we learn and just go straight to our memory.
Yeah, I've definitely had earworms for days, but how does that translate to actual language learning?
That's the beauty of it. When you listen to music, you're not just passively hearing words. You're experiencing them, connecting them to melody, rhythm, and emotion. And all of that makes them stick.
So I'm basically hacking my brain into remembering English words without even trying.
Pretty much. It's like a backdoor to fluency.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal. But isn't language learning more than just remembering words? What about grammar, sentence structure, all that stuff?
You're right, there's definitely more to it than just vocabulary. But here's the thing. Music can actually help with those aspects too.
Really? How so?
It's all about exposure and immersion. When you listen to songs in English, you're constantly being exposed to different sentence structures, grammatical patterns, and even slang.
I never thought about it that way. So just by listening to music, I'm passively absorbing all this information about the language.
Exactly. It's like osmosis for your brain.
Yeah.
And it's happening even if you're not consciously analyzing every word and sentence.
So instead of drilling myself with grammar rules, I can just jam out to my favorite tunes and let my brain do the work. That sounds way more fun.
That's the idea. Learning should be enjoyable, and music makes it naturally engaging.
This is making a lot of sense. But let's get real for a second. Are we talking about any genre of music, or is there some, like, magic English learning playlist out there?
Well, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. It really depends on your personal preferences and your level of English.
Okay, that makes sense. So a beginner might not want to jump straight into, like, heavy metal lyrics.
Probably not. But for someone starting out, artists like Adele or Ed Sheeran are great choices.
Oh, yeah, their music is super catchy and easy to follow along with.
Exactly. Their pronunciation is clear and their lyrics are relatable, which makes them perfect for beginners.
So I'm guessing as you get more comfortable with the language, you can branch out into different genres and explore more complex styles.
Absolutely. In fact, that's a great way to not only expand your vocabulary, but also get exposed to different accents and dialects.
Oh, wow. So it's like I'm getting a taste of the real world through music, not just textbook English.
Exactly. And that's one of the most powerful things about this approach. It's not just about learning the language in a vacuum. It's about connecting with the culture, the people, the emotions behind the words.
Okay, this is all blowing my mind, but I gotta ask, what about the less obvious benefits? Can music really help with things like listening comprehension or pronunciation?
It definitely can. Think about it. When you listen to music, you're subconsciously training your ear to pick up on different sounds, rhythms, and intonations.
So it's like my brain is getting a workout without me even realizing it?
Pretty much. And over time, this can significantly improve your ability to understand spoken English, even at faster speeds or with different accents.
That's impressive. And what about pronunciation? Can belting out my favorite tunes really help me sound more natural?
You bet. When you sing along to a song, you're naturally mimicking the singer's pronunciation and intonation. It's like having a personal vocal coach right in your headphones.
So it's like karaoke practice for real life conversation.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the more comfortable and confident you'll become with speaking English.
This is incredible. I'm starting to see music as this like secret weapon for language learning, but how do I actually make it work? Where do I even start?
Well, the first and most important step is to choose music that you genuinely enjoy.
Okay, that makes sense. If I'm forcing myself to listen to music I hate, it's not going to be very effective.
Exactly. Passion and enjoyment are key here. So start with your favorite artists, genres, or songs. Anything that makes you want to move and sing along.
Got it. But what about finding lyrics? Do I need to like frantically Google them while I'm listening?
Not at all. Websites like Genius.com and azlyrics.com are amazing resources for lyrics. They even offer annotations and explanations to help you understand the meaning behind the words.
That's so convenient. So I can just pull up the lyrics, sing along, and let the language magic happen.
Hold on, there's one more crucial step. Active listening.
Active listening. What's that all about?
It's about being fully present and engaged with the music, not just letting it play in the background. Pay attention to the pronunciation, the way words are connected, the overall flow of the language.
So it's like I'm dissecting the song, breaking it down, really trying to understand every nuance.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to pause, rewind, and repeat sections until you feel like you've got it.
Okay, got it. No zoning out, even if the beat is amazing. Active listening is key. But what else can I do to make sure I'm really absorbing the lyrics?
Great question. Think about using flashcards with words and phrases from the songs. It's a classic technique for a reason.
Yeah, flashcards are definitely helpful for memorization, but is there anything else I can do to go beyond just rote learning?
Absolutely. Get creative. Try rewriting parts of the song in your own words, almost like a songwriting exercise.
Ooh, I like that idea. It's like I'm putting my own spin on the lyrics and making them more personal.
Exactly. And if you're feeling really ambitious, you can even try translating the lyrics into your native language. It's a great way to deepen your understanding of the meaning and nuances.
Wow, there are so many possibilities. I'm already feeling inspired to turn my favorite songs into mini English lessons, but with all these options, it's easy to get overwhelmed. What's the most important thing to keep in mind?
Consistency is key, just like with any learning method. Make music a regular part of your English routine, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Over time, you'll be amazed at the progress you make.
So, small steps, consistent effort, got it. I'm starting to see how music can be this fun and effective way to boost my English skills, but I'm also wondering about the other side of the coin. What about the challenges? Not all songs are going to be easy to understand, right?
You're absolutely right. You'll definitely encounter songs with fast lyrics, complex vocabulary, or even slang that you're not familiar with.
So how do I deal with those tricky parts? Do I just skip them and move on?
Not necessarily. Those challenges can actually be valuable learning opportunities.
Okay, how so?
Well, think of it as a puzzle to solve. When you come across a difficult word or phrase, don't be afraid to pause, look it up, and research its meaning.
So instead of getting frustrated, I can use those moments to expand my vocabulary and understanding.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the more confident you'll become in tackling those challenges. Yeah.
This is a great mindset shift. I'm starting to see those tricky parts as stepping stones to fluency.
That's the spirit. And remember, the beauty of music is that it's a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the process, embrace the challenges, and let the music guide you.
I'm definitely feeling motivated to put all of this into practice. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious to hear about those real-world success stories you mentioned earlier. Have people really achieved fluency just by listening to music?
You bet. And that's exactly what we'll be exploring in part 3 of our deep dive. We'll be diving into the inspiring stories of individuals who have used music to master English and transform their lives.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. I can't wait to hear those stories. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll be exploring the incredible world of people who have learned English through the power of music.
Welcome back to our deep dive into learning English with music. We were talking about some pretty cool stuff before the break, like how music can help with things like vocabulary and listening comprehension.
Yeah, it's really fascinating stuff. But I'm curious to know, are there any advanced techniques or strategies that can take my learning to the next level?
Absolutely. Once you've got the basics down, there's some really cool things you can do with music to supercharge your learning.
Okay, I'm all ears. Spill the secrets.
One technique that's super effective is called shadowing.
Shadowing. That sounds kind of, intense.
It's not as scary as it sounds. Basically, you listen to a song and try to mimic the singer's pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation, all in real time. Like you're literally their shadow, following their every move.
Oh, okay, so it's not just singing along. It's about really paying attention to the details of how they're saying the words.
Exactly. It forces you to become hyper-aware of the nuances of pronunciation, the way words connect, the musicality of the language. It's like a workout for your tongue and your brain.
That sounds like a challenge, but I can see how it would be really beneficial.
It is. And as you get more comfortable with shadowing, you'll notice improvements in your own pronunciation, fluency, and even your confidence in speaking. It's like you're absorbing the singer's style and making it your own.
Wow, that's pretty cool. What kind of music works best for this shadowing technique?
It depends on your level. If you're a beginner, you might want to start with slower, simpler songs with clear pronunciation. Think like Let It Be by the Beatles or Someone Like You by Adele.
Yeah, those are great choices. Easy to follow along with.
Exactly. And as your skills progress, you can gradually challenge yourself with faster tempos, more complex lyrics, and even different accents. Think like Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen or something by Eminem.
Okay, I'm up for the challenge. But are there any other techniques we should explore?
Definitely. Another powerful one is transcribing.
Transcribing, isn't that just like writing down the
It's
lyrics?
more than just copying. It's about actively listening and trying to capture every sound, every syllable, every breath the singer takes, almost like you're creating a musical map of the song.
Wow, that sounds pretty meticulous. What's the benefit of going through all that effort?
As you transcribe, you're forced to slow down, really listen, and analyze the language on a deeper level. You start to notice patterns in pronunciation, word connections, and sentence structure that you might have missed otherwise.
So it's like I'm training my ear to pick up on the subtle details of the language.
Precisely. And as you practice transcribing, your listening comprehension and overall understanding of English will improve dramatically.
I'm sensing a theme here. Active listening is key, whether I'm shadowing or transcribing. But I have to admit, these techniques sound kind of time consuming. How do I fit them into my already busy schedule?
That's a valid concern. But here's the beauty of music. You can integrate it into your daily routine without having to set aside extra time. Listen to songs while you're commuting, working out, cooking dinner, whatever you're doing.
Right. It's like sneaking in a language lesson while I'm conquering my to-do list. I can definitely make time for that.
Exactly. And as you make music a regular part of your life, you'll be amazed at how quickly your English skills start to improve.
Okay, I'm feeling motivated to put all this into practice, but are there any other resources that can help me along the way, like apps, websites, anything like that?
Absolutely. There's a whole world of resources out there dedicated to helping language learners through music.
Awesome. Spill the tea. Which ones are your top recommendations?
Well, Lyrics Training is a great app we mentioned earlier. It's gamified, so it keeps you engaged while you're working on your listening comprehension and vocabulary. And it has tons of songs to choose from.
I love a good language learning game. What about something that goes beyond just lyrics?
There's Fluent U, which uses authentic videos, like music videos, movie clips, and news segments, to teach English. It's super immersive and engaging.
That sounds amazing. It's like I'm getting a taste of real life English in all its different forms.
Exactly. And they have interactive captions and quizzes to help you learn along the way.
Wow, so many great options. But with all this choice, it can be kind of overwhelming. Any tips for navigating this world of music-based learning?
The most important thing is to experiment and find what works best for you. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. Try different apps, websites, and techniques, and see what resonates with you and keeps you motivated.
So it's all about personalizing my learning journey.
Exactly. The goal is to make language learning an enjoyable experience, not a chore. And when you enjoy the process, you're more likely to stick with it and see real results.
Well said. I'm feeling incredibly inspired to put all this into practice. But before we move on to the next part, I'm curious to hear about those real-world success stories you mentioned earlier. Have people really achieved fluency just by listening to music?
You bet. And that's exactly what we'll be exploring in part 3 of our deep dive. We'll be diving into the inspiring stories of individuals who have used music to master English and achieve their dreams.
All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive, and I'm ready for those inspiring stories. People who've actually used music to master English, like real-life examples.
Oh, absolutely. There are tons.
Awesome. So tell me, what kind of impact has music had on these learners?
Well, one study I came across focused on immigrants in English-speaking countries, and it found that music wasn't just helping them with vocabulary.
Right.
It was actually playing a much deeper role in their integration process.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. So it wasn't just about the words themselves, but more about connecting with the culture on a deeper level.
Exactly. This study found that, like, sharing musical experiences helped these newcomers build relationships with native speakers
That makes sense.
and feel more like they belonged in their new communities. Some even said that singing English songs helped them overcome their shyness about speaking.
Yeah, that makes sense. Music has this incredible power to break down barriers and connect people.
Absolutely. It's a universal language.
I'm curious, have you found any stories of people using music to advance their careers?
Oh, definitely. Professionals in international fields, like diplomats or business people, often use music to improve their fluency.
Hmm.
There was even a case study where a lawyer used music to prepare for a big presentation in English. He said it helped him with his pronunciation, his confidence, even his stage presence.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not just a hobby, it can have real-world applications.
For sure.
This is so inspiring, but let's get back to the music itself. Is there, like, a magic genre for language learning, or does it really just depend on the person?
That's what's so cool about music. It's all about personal preference. Some people find that pop music is a great starting point because it's catchy and usually has pretty simple lyrics.
Yeah, I can see that.
Others might prefer classical music because it helps them focus or train their ear to different sounds. And then there are those who love hip hop for its use of slang and wordplay.
So there's really something for everyone.
Exactly. The key is to find music that you genuinely enjoy listening to. Because when you're having fun, you're more likely to stay engaged and learn effectively.
That makes perfect sense. But I'm wondering, if I rely too much on music, am I going to miss out on learning proper grammar and all that stuff?
That's a valid concern. But remember, music is just one tool in your language learning toolbox. It's not meant to replace everything else.
Okay, so it's all about balance.
Exactly. You still need to study grammar, practice speaking, and do all the other things that help you develop your language skills.
Yeah.
But music can be an incredibly powerful supplement to your learning journey.
So it's like music is the secret sauce that makes the whole process more fun and engaging.
Exactly. And when you're having fun, you're more likely to stick with it and see real results.
I love that. This whole deep dive has been so eye-opening. I feel like I've discovered a whole new way to learn English.
I'm glad to hear that.
But before we wrap up, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
You know, I think it's this. Don't underestimate the power of music. It can be more than just entertainment.
Right.
It can be a powerful tool for learning, connecting with others, and even transforming your life.
Beautifully said. I'm feeling inspired to turn up the music and get my learn on. To everyone listening, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We'll see you next time.